Okay. Hello, everyone. And welcome into my Unity. If you do not know me, my name is Wing Discordant. And I am a content creator for VR chat. Previously, I was like a really small YouTuber, like multiple years back. Um, but I currently do work on Gumroad, and I'm getting ready to redo my previous avatar. So if you want to know anything about that, go ahead and check my channel. I'll probably have my Gumroad linked in the description. But I had a friend of mine, really, really upset because I couldn't figure out how to get a Hue Shift working. So today in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to get a Hue Shift working on an avatar. This tutorial does not go over avatar importing or anything like that. If you need help with that, feel free to reach out in the comments below. I'm fine with making other videos and other tutorials, but this is just something they've been really struggling with. So I figured if I walk them through it like exactly the way that I do it, then it's gonna make a lot more sense, right? First of all, this project is a brand new project, and the only thing in it is Poyomi, the SDK, and the avatar. That's it. There's nothing else. I haven't edited the avatar. I haven't done anything to it. This is as base as it gets. By the way, this is Peony by Kenny. She's super duper cute. She's one of the first furry avatars that I bought myself. Um, I I'm redoing her for like the third time, which which is why I currently have her in Unity. Because I was like, what avatar is really good for me to be able to explain this? And you know what? We're gonna use her because she's super cute, right? Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So the very first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to click on your avatar, right? Click on her right here. And what you're gonna look for is if there's currently a runtime controller on your animator. This is where all the animations you make are going to go into. You can see that she has an FX, but she doesn't currently have a runtime controller. That will automatically be input the minute that you create an animation. Because when you go to the animation tab down here, it says create an animation clip. This animation clip is going to go into that controller, right? We're going to say create an animation clip. And let's say we're going to hue shift her shirt, right? Her shirt's pink. Let's say we want it to be colors besides pink. So first of all, we need a place to put our animations. I personally always make a brand new folder, and I put my initials and say anims, so I know that they're all made by me. And then the way that I name my animations completely depends on what it is and what it's doing. But you're gonna want two different animations for hue shifting explicitly. So we're just gonna say shirt 0. And you see now we have a controller. It's named after our avatar. And that's where all of your animations from this point on is going to go. And now we have shirt 0 here in our animation tab. So before we go and start our first animation, you're going to want to go down to your material and see if it's locked in or not. If it's locked, you're going to have to unlock it. And then we're going to look at everything that is currently going on with it. We see that it has a base texture, which is pink, which means we're going to have to color shift the color just that is right below main. And then you're going to go want to look and see if there's any rim lighting. It seems that we do have some rim lighting going on, but because it's not colored, we don't need to hue shift it. And we do have a matte cap going on, but I don't see the matte cap interfering with what we're currently doing, so that doesn't need to be hue shifted either. You always want to know, what's going on with the avatar. So now that you know that, you're going to want to make sure you go ahead and click on for color adjust. It's going to go blue for a minute. That's fine. And this is really super important. I need you to remember this. You need to right click on right next to the left of hue shift and click animated when locked. This is what's going to come up if you're using one of the newer versions of Poyomi. I believe if you're using an older version, it'll say something like create like a key, and that works too. The reason you want to do that is so you'll actually be able to see the color change while you're in game, because it will leave this section of the material shader unlocked. If you don't do it, It's not going to work, all right? Very important. So now that we do that and we know it's unlocked for sure, we can click on the shirt or on the avatar. It really doesn't matter either way. But, you probably want to click on the shirt because it has to know what that material is assigned to. You're going to click this pretty red button. That means it is now recording. I usually adjust where I am in the scene so I can accurately look at what I'm currently recording, but it's not really required. And you're going to move this the tiniest bit. Now that you have moved it, you can see that it says shirt skin mesh renderer over here on the side. And we're just going to want to stop recording and take it out of preview. If you don't remember to take it out of preview and it gets stuck in that crouch position on uploading, it'll completely break the avatar. So, I just want to remember that. Make sure you go ahead and just make sure that's set at a solid 0. Why do we do this, you ask? Well, because you're going to have 2 animations, so you want to go back into that folder where you put the first animation and duplicate it. This is click on it, hit Control D. It's going to give you shirt 1. Awesome. Named perfectly already. You want to click over back to your animation tab, hit that 0, get rid of it, and replace it with a 1. Which this now means that our first animation is when Hue Shift is at 0. It is at the base pink. And 1 is also at the base pink. So why do we have 1 and 0, you ask? Well, because if you notice, in between 1 and 0 is the rainbow. And that's what's going to allow us to hue shift it to where it's not fucky and kind of messing up. Because some of the ways that I've seen animations taught and the way that I used to do it is you had one animation that hue shifted it and it was set to 1 and an empty clip, which works. But it kind of moves the rainbow around sometimes, and it's real weird. So, yeah. Next thing you're going to want to do is you want to go find the parameters and the menu for your avatar. So I'm going to click on that, and it takes me right to parameters. You see all this? This is what's currently inside of the avatar. Looks like we're at 65 out of 256, so we have tons of room for play. I'm going to add a brand new parameter, and I'm going to call it shirt shift for lack of a better term. Make sure this is set to a float, but don't put anything in the 0 box. Leave that as it is. This check mark all the way on your very far right is asking if you want this option to be kept whenever you leave the room or you go to a different world. And you're going to want to say yes. I'm sure you don't want to reset yourself to blue every time that avatar has to be redrawn, right? That'd be super annoying. So the very next thing you're going to want to do is go find the FX that is already attached to the avatar. You can find that by going over here and clicking on this. Oh, look. Nice. So now we're in our parameters within the FX for the avatar. You want to add a float parameter that exactly matches the exact same way we just wrote it in the regular parameters, right? Which means this needs to say shirt shift. It needs to have the same exact uppercases. If it doesn't, it's not going to recognize that it's the same thing, and you're going to run into issues. Also, still leave the 0 alone. Next thing you want to do is you want to hit this plus sign up here. This is going to create a brand new animation layer. Double click it, name it whatever you want. I'm just going to continue to name it shirt shift, right? Hit this gear icon and set your weight all the way to 1. Don't ask me why, but it's not going to work if you don't. Now here is where setting up a shift, like a hue shift, is a little bit different from a lot of other stuff you do. Like if we click on shorts over here, you can see how it's set up into an integer, or the dress is set up into a bool. This is not going to be set up like that. What you're going to do instead is in this gray space here, you're going to right click, hit create state, and then form a new blend tree. Alright, so we got a blend tree in there. Double click on that orange blend tree to actually get into the blend tree, and then click on this. In this, the first thing you want to do is go up here to parameters and make sure you have it set to the parameter you created for the shift. If you have it set to say we left it set to gesture left weight, anytime you changed expressions on your left hand is when you're going to change colors, which is really weird, and I'm pretty sure that's not what you want. So set it to shirt shift. And then we have this motion tab. You're going to want 2 motions because, if you remember correctly, we made 2 animations. So you can either click the plus button underneath motion, or you can right click and say add motion. Do not add blend tree, add a motion. And then you just put them in order, shirt 0 to shirt 1. And then, so you can like kind of see when you do this that it goes in between animation 1 and animation 2, which is why we have one set to 0 and one set to 1. Great. So then you're going to want to go set it up in your menu. So I'm going to click on our avatar again, and I'm going to go find the main menu, which is probably not where you want it. Personally, I'm going to get rid of this locomotion tab because I use GoGo Loco. But we're going to create a brand new menu, and we're going to call this the color menu, right? We're going to type in rainbow. We're going to get like a radial shift here. We're going to say it's a submenu. Gonna right click over a few. I'm just gonna sit here for just a minute so you can see what path I just went through. Gonna create a brand new menu. I'm gonna call it color menu. Make sure we go back to our original menu and assign that. Things don't work when you don't assign them, right? And here we are. Add a brand new control, and we're gonna call this control shirt shift, because that's kind of exactly what we made. I'm going to add the rainbow slider again. We're going to set this as a radial puppet. Do not put anything in this top parameter slot. I know it's there. Leave it empty. You're going to want to go down to parameter rotation and hit shirt shift, which is assigned to a float, which is the animation that's going to make this work. So yeah, that is all you need to know in making things work. If you have any more questions about getting things to Hue Shift correctly or this and that, please don't feel afraid to contact me in the comments down below. I will also feel free to put this in a Google Doc probably with pictures going through the steps one by one, so that way you aren't confused if need be. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that this has been helpful.